Yeah.
I'll give you $15.
Yeah, oh, good.
15, is that all?
Yeah. Well, I got to Braden's got to practice.
Generous.
But Skylar got her license yesterday.
Yes, that's what I heard, yes.
Oh my goodness. She's training for a death trap.
Yep, okay, so I'll.
Wow.
Oh, we are live. Okay. So it is April 26, 2023. We'll call the EDA meeting to order. You look over your EDA minutes from March 22nd, 2023. Wait for the whistle. I could get a motion to approve the EDA meeting minutes from March 22nd, 2023.
I approve.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public hearing meeting on March 30th, 2023 at 5 o'clock. Lot sales.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. CEDA coordinators report.
Hello, good evening, everybody. I don't have a lot for you tonight. I just have one announcement and then an update on the facade improvement program. The announcement is for the CEDA 2023 annual meeting. I just wanted to invite the EDA board to attend if you're able. I put all the details on your sheet, and I also send out a reminder email to everybody's official council emails. But this will happen on Tuesday, June 27th from 10 to 1 at the Cannon River Winery in Cannon Falls. There will be 4 presentations on CEDA staff from different communities around the state. One will be on grant writing, one will be on creative childcare solutions, one will be on organizing community events, and then the last one will be on rural business innovation partnerships, which is a new program CEDA rolled out this year. There will be an optional wine tasting that tickles anybody's fancy, and lunch is provided, and then free golf is also provided afterwards for anybody interested in that. So a fun event. It's a great learning opportunity, and a lot of different public officials attend, so also good networking opportunity. Again, if anybody's interested in attending that. The update I have is for the facade improvement program. So 24/7 Fitness completed an application and submitted it to council in April of last year. They reached out to me and let me know that they're just waiting on that last component of their application to get completed. It was a relatively extensive application. They were replacing the door and redoing the entryway for the apartments upstairs, as well as replacing 2 of the apartment windows on the 2nd floor and repairing a broken window glass on that 1st floor for the business. So their window installation is scheduled for this week, and that complies with the timeline requirement for them to complete all of the updates. So I just communicated them to have me the documentation that it was finalized and all of the paid invoices by next week. And I'll be bringing that to you in May for approval of payment from the council. That will leave us with only 2 outstanding kind of payments left. And those should be completed, both those projects should be completed by the end of the summer, and then we'll be all caught up on facade improvement. I know we touched on this a little bit at the last meeting, but I did just want to ask that maybe we put this on the schedule for a working session, just so we can discuss it a little bit further, talk about if we want to reopen the program, restructure the program, how we'd like to fund it, what the funding levels would be, and look at kind of again that property tax assessment, how it increases with these improvements, and if it kind of pays off in the long run. So just asking that maybe this gets put on the work session agenda, just so that we can discuss in further detail and then helping make action at a future meeting. Okay. And that's all I have for you tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Right, could I get a motion to adjourn the EDA meeting?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, we need an approval. We need to make an amendment to the
Yeah.
agenda.
I didn't know what
please.
that meant on the second paragraph, motion by Schmidt, second by Riley to amend the agenda. Replacing, that's what it was, we amended the agenda for replacing the city engineer with the farmer's market, what does that mean? That we
Is
already
it a
amended that?
typo?
It's the second paragraph on here, but maybe that's why to amend the agenda.
Motion to amend the agenda, replacing city engineer with farmer's market.
Yep, so,
Yeah, we did that.
That's
so,
already done, okay.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
so that wasn't wrong. Yep, so that was, that's, he's reviewing
That's
the
already
minutes.
done,
there.
okay.
Yeah, so he wasn't here last time, so we moved the farmer's market to that spot.
That's what we
Yeah,
did,
that's
okay.
right.
Okay.
It's like,
I was
a
all
little
confused.
worrisome, you thought you were gonna be replaced there.
Yeah, farmer's market people are gonna run the
Farmer's
whole
market.
show.
Instead of break.
I was confused too, so.
Reese has been replaced.
Okay.
Buy some cucumbers.
Yeah.
Okay. The only thing that I noticed, on the top, I think when a council member is absent, Joe, we could maybe just list that. So then we can easily, because not everybody knows at this point who everybody is, so, you know, who was present as far as, and who was absent as a council person. So Joe would have been absent at that March 22nd meeting. So he should just, or attended via Zoom. Sure. So we kind of know that.
I guess I didn't see anything else, so I'll motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Alright.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. We need to, number 4, we need to make just, an amendment to the agenda. If you slide on down C under, number 6, Lions Club gambling permit. That can be taken off. I think that was the only one, wasn't it, Joe? Okay. Other than that, then we can approve the,
I'll motion to approve the.
Second.
all those in favor?
Alright.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, so we had the March 22nd meeting, I looked at that, and the April 12th work council meeting, so if we can just look those over. Do we need to approve those as far as, okay.
I move we accept.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Alright.
Opposed? Motion carried. Old business. I don't have really anything that came up. Reese is gonna address one issue, that the sign on there, so. We'll move on to new business. Reese, you're up.
Good evening. Few updates today, so we have a long awaited vital water main leak. We can finally close that one out.
Wow.
Paperwork on that, so that was a very good day to see that. So we do have two items on our agenda that we do need to take care of just in order to put this one to rest. So the first one is a change order. So this is actually a decrease of $735. So this is just change order number 1, and this will be the only change order for that. So there's a piece of curb along 3rd kind of in the street that never got installed. So we just pulled that off the contract and get that closed out. So I will need a motion for that one, and then the second one that we'll need is the application for payment number 2. That is the final pay application. So that is for the $2,210.25. That's essentially just releasing the retainage from the project. So otherwise, it was per plan. So there was no real major changes to this project. So yeah. I guess once we have those, then we can make the final payment and be done.
So by pulling the curb and gutter off, that's something that is not gonna be replaced, or it's not gonna be done at all, or what do you mean with pulling it off?
Yeah, so they,
Just leave it?
yeah, we were pushing for that for
Okay.
a long time.
Oh, good. So, yep, sure.
So you wanna run, are these two different motions?
Yeah, we need to do them.
Okay.
So the first motion, we need to, I need a motion to decrease, the decrease of $735 for a segment of curb which was not installed. So I need an approval on that, to accept that.
I so move. Oh, did you say something?
I was just gonna, why wasn't it replaced?
He just said,
Yeah, so we were,
couldn't get it.
we were trying to push them for a very long time and we just couldn't have them to get it done.
So we're just gonna leave it blank?
So I don't know if the city actually did, or is that still
The
not
one on,
the end of the street that,
Viola, I mean,
sort of
Third,
down?
going down,
Yeah.
this is from this project,
Mm-hmm.
we haven't done it.
Right, and that's where, it really doesn't do a whole lot
Right.
for that, because it goes to that end, so I didn't feel that.
Yeah, they didn't know we didn't do that, and they didn't either, so now I know which.
So basically it sounds like it was an add-on for the contractor when they were
But he
here doing
didn't do
Viola.
Right.
And that they didn't do it, yeah.
And is a curb completely missing there?
I believe so.
And how can we let that go?
We don't have to,
It doesn't really need to be in there, did it? They're just gonna, when they pave it and everything, it's just gonna come up to that point, or what was the deal?
yeah, it was just replacing a piece that was already there,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's kind of just a dead end on the street.
So is there a hole there or what's happening?
I believe there's a little bit of a gap, but honestly, I gotta go out and take a look at it.
It's not much, Joe,
Okay,
it's right where it would be, the back side of Ag Partners, shop, right?
Yeah, yep.
On the dead end across from, I don't know, I can't remember, March's, right there.
Yeah.
On that street right there, that's where it is.
And
It's just a small section.
I think what maybe this is maybe a piece that's missing is that it was added on to the Viola contractor, but by taking it off, we can move forward with closing out and
okay.
making the payment on it. But I think that with them looking at it, and maybe if it needs to be done, adding it to a
It just
future.
wasn't, we decided it
So we
wasn't
just need to
necessary.
get
It
this
wasn't, I don't think it's
closed
I
out.
don't think we want
We
to
talked about
Oh.
messes with it. It doesn't affect any drainage.
Yeah, so
Okay.
reevaluate it so we can close
Right.
this Viola.
I can live with that.
No.
So I had a motion, I just need a second on the change order of $735. Chris, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. I need a motion for the application of payment number 2 in the amount of $2,210.25 for the final payment. You get a motion on that?
Yeah, so moved.
I'll second it.
A second? All in favor?
Okay.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, Reese?
Okay, so the second one, North Sunboro Sanitary District, we did have a sanitary district meeting today, and we did have the the lobbyist in with that, so they did provide us an update on where that is at. So they said there hasn't been a whole lot of movement on a bonding bill over the last couple of weeks. He is still pretty confident that something will get passed by the end of May for this first legislative session, but I think there is a little bit of a political piece that the two parties need to come together and work something out. So, still a work in progress. They were thinking that we will hear more here in the next couple of weeks as they start to identify some of the budget and work through some of those pieces, but we're in a little bit of a holding pattern on bonding bill specific. So I know they're continuing to work towards that. So, unfortunately, not a whole lot of news on that front, but you know, the lobbyist was optimistic that they were going to get it resolved, but obviously that's never a guarantee. So the one thing they did mention is that there could be an option to where a portion of it is funded, so it would essentially be the land acquisition and design of the sanitary district that could be funded and not the full ask at this time in order to get the project moving. So next year is a bonding cycle or a bonding year, so that would be a normal bonding session. So there would be an opportunity to go for additional funds at that time too. So trying to get something rolling, but again, should hear more.
Anybody have any questions for Reese on that? Or Patrice, did you have anything to add from our meeting on that?
Oh, except, I mean, it's really up in the air as to whether we'll be able to do it. You know, I mean, we have to do it. The state says we have to do it, but, you know, whether we'll get the funding, but by the next meeting, we should know. End of May,
We should, end of May.
should know, so.
So they were saying that'll probably be the last thing that happens during this legislative session, so kind of the very end.
Yeah.
So going along with the MPCA, so the MPCA has requested that we pull together a compliance schedule, and this is in order for the NPDES SDS permit that the city holds for their wastewater treatment plant. So with the permit being updated, we do need to show a path forward to the state so that they can keep that on record for the EPA. So in the package, what I included was a couple different tracks to meet compliance. So in discussions with the PCA, they were thinking we could push it out as much as 10 years. They said they've seen that approved in the past, but we're looking at this in a couple different ways. One, the first track being the sanitary district. You know, if we can get that funded, then that would put ultimate compliance in 10 years, and so that would be 2033. So what will happen here is, and I can kind of run through the activities and kind of what some of this means for the city. So this first track, obviously we have a placeholder in there to say, okay, we're going to continue to pursue funding through this first legislative session. If that is funded, then we will have to develop a facility plan, and really in either instance, we're going to need to develop a facility plan. So that's more of a formal document and report that outlines what your options are for sand or wastewater treatment and what path you ultimately want to move forward with. So there's a whole bunch of questions that you need to answer within that document, but it is a formalized document. So in either instance, so whether it's the sanitary district, that would be all the communities working on this one facility plan. If it is just the city going out on their own or connecting to some road, that would be the city, performing the facility plan on their own. So then once we have the facility plan, the intent would be to submit that plan to the NPCA. They would review, approve, and then we would want to try to have that done before the grant application period is up. So that's typically right in the spring. So that's usually that April timeframe, March, April, excuse me, for some of those grant applications. And then you kind of need to wait for some funding. And again, you're trying to get some of those dollars back in. So there's a handful of things that we can go for, but primary one being the bonding bill, and the secondary being the project priority list, and that is the clean water bill, or the clean water fund. So we are already on the project priority list, and so that'll be a little bit, hopefully that'll keep things going right along. But then once you have that, then you start to develop the sanitary district. We all get on board, you get some, develop the actual district, get a board together, understand what percentage of costs the different communities will start paying, and then work through the actual design and entitlement process. So if it were a sanitary district, these days I'm trying to push this out as far as we can because it's a little bit easier to exceed some of these thresholds, but it's more difficult to push these final dates. So we're showing that design will be done by 28, but realistically, if we got funded, we could have that done a lot quicker. But just want to provide ample time for the city should, a land acquisition process take much longer than anticipated or something along those lines. Once that's done, then obviously you can notify the PCA, and then we can get actually started on construction. So in this schedule, it would be 29 is when that would be. And anticipating that'll probably be a couple years to get the plant and the force needs completed. So once that's all done, it will really be up and running kind of end of 31 into 32. And then you would ultimately decommission the current wastewater treatment plant. So obviously you can't do that until everything is converted over, going to the new system, and then you can terminate your existing permit. So that's showing that ultimate compliance in that 2033 section. I know that's a lot of information. Is there any questions I can answer on sanitary district path? If not, it's a very similar process. If we're going to say, hey, we're going to connect to Zumbrota or construct our own treatment plant, but that ultimate timeline ends up a couple of years sooner. Just because you're not going to go through the formation of a sanitary district, you might have a little bit of negotiation with Zumbrota, but it wouldn't necessarily be a full district formation for that. So right now, we did submit that to the PCA. They're going to have their permits group review that. I guess if there are any concerns with any of these dates, again, I tried to push it out as far as we can, but ultimately they have to say it's as soon as reasonably possible that you can meet compliance. So trying to make it a reasonable ask to them.
I would just like to add and thank Jason. He's put a lot of time in. He's talking to the MPCA regularly and really working hard at making sure. And so when he and Reese kind of got together and put their heads together on this, and Reese came up, but Jason has done a great job for the city, really keeping us informed with the MPCA. He's done a good job. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
So next on the list, we have the 4th and Broadway Street improvements. It's in a note to the contractor. I think he is out the next couple weeks, so I did not get a response back from him. But ultimately, final completion is June 30th. So they do have another month, a couple months to get the last lift and casting rates and everything cleaned up. So should be getting that rolling here hopefully very soon. Going forward to the UNIDOT project, so that's the Highway 58 County Road 9. I know we did have a utility meeting with the state and all the utilities. So the gas relocation is in the works, and I probably already pursuing that. And then I know as part of that, we were kind of kicking around the idea of doing the water main relocation. So I know, Jason, I know you were working with MPL to potentially get a quote.
Kyle and I had mentioned to them.
Okay. So I don't know if there's final numbers on that, but right now, if you can turn it off, it's not a have to, because the state is not going to say you must relocate that line, but right now it's not providing fire protection to the farm over there, and it does kind of neck down to a 2-inch line underneath the highway. So at some point, if you need to, you're going to need to at some point.
Right.
So it's not going to last forever. And the biggest thing is, you really want a casing on that, because the last thing you want to have happen is that water main to burst, and then all of a sudden you're undermining the new roundabout. So, like I said, we pulled a couple estimates together for a partial replacement. That would be essentially just under the roundabout area, and a full replacement that would essentially go back to Broadway to the hydrant at the Stairs Farm. But that was ranging anywhere between $90,000 and $150,000 for kind of partial versus the full replacement. So the big piece of that is a steel casing that ends up going under the highway. So that is assuming that we would upsize that line and ultimately build a curb, instead of going from a 4 to a 2 to a 4 and make it actually useful. So waiting on some better numbers on that, but did want to bring that topic up and make sure if there's anything else I'm missing on that one.
Yes. I would recommend that you move it out of there and fix it correctly. If they're going to redo the roundabout and the ditches, now would be the time to take care of it, but that's just probably our opinion would be get it updated.
Well, if you're gonna fix it, we almost gotta fix it right.
Right. I mean, it's not just gonna be NPL doing mooring it. Kyle and I have talked, there's gonna be elbows, there's gonna be quite a bit of excavation, a new hydrant, new curb stops, so it's gonna be a fairly major, not major, but fairly major project, yeah.
And I talked to NPL yesterday, and they were someone from their subcontractors, kind of, it's busy season right now for them, so they're hoping Friday to have a kind of a ballpark price.
We were hoping to get it today, but they couldn't do it. So something for you guys to, as a council, to consider.
Right.
We are,
And it
Right.
certainly, we're looking at it, would like to be able to,
yes.
get it done in a timely manner. And so, but we have to really look and see where we can find those funds,
Yeah, how we can budget for it.
possibly.
So the other part of the roundabout project is the easement for the trail through the Egg Partners lot. So I know we had met with them previously. They're now asking for kind of a land swap type of situation of some of the current right-of-way. So Front Street actually extends the right-of-way for that. It extends into Egg Partners, probably 150 feet or so. So there's actually a chunk of that, even just graveled area beyond the edge of the paved area that is technically the city's. And so there is a chunk of it that does have a little bit of utilities within it, but it's only the first 20 feet. But Ag Partners has requested that the council consider vacating that right-of-way section in return for the trail easement. So there would be a section of the trail easement that has kind of already somewhat been in place, but there would be another piece of it along County Road 9 that would be in addition to what is currently considered a trail easement.
So the spot that they want is that over by the anhydrous tanks?
Yes. I've got a quick little map, but show this a little bit easier, but the section that they're asking for is closer to here. So kind of behind the gas station, maybe 50 feet or so. But it's really close to where they're just putting in their new driveway.
Oh, yeah.
Just right on the other side of the driveway is really where they're asking for that to be kind of squared off.
And you
So-
said there is utilities under there,
Correct.
so they're wanting this
It really
from here
just
down.
stubs right there, and that's about the extent of our utilities. So, you know, it doesn't really, you don't have to give them this, but I think it'll be a little bit easier of a negotiation on the trail easement, requesting that. Now, I don't think you need to go the entire length. You know, obviously, if you have your utilities in there, you would need to then place an easement over top of it, so that you can still access it, maintain it, etc. But wanted to bring that up today. I don't think we need an action on this. And you know, speaking with Bill over at Ag Partners, he was more than happy to come talk through it, what their goals are for that area, and what some of their future plans are, and why this would be helpful to them. But yeah, he did offer up, and I kind of mentioned to him that maybe a work session for the 10th would be a good time to go visit and review this a little bit more in depth. So just really wanted to kind of bring this up to start, and then get some initial thoughts, or we can push it out to a work session.
This line,
Mhm.
it's here. So to square this off,
I know,
so you can use it there.
Yeah, this is
Get
where they're
rid of
going
this
with the-
little front street there. Because we need the easement here.
right. It's definitely in our better interest to work with Ag Partners in any way we can. So, well, yeah, we'll just table that until, we don't have to go until tonight. So.
And the last one I had is the Highway 58 billboard. So we did get that proposal signed back from the billboard company. So we did have our surveyors out there, I think that was last week already. So they did get that field work done. They did just get a draft of it. They're still working through some of the boundary issues on it, but I would imagine that'll be done here in the next week or so. So should have that one resolved here fairly shortly.
And Reagan Outdoor Advertising agreed to pay for that survey.
Correct.
Oh,
So
good.
that's no money out of our pocket.
Yep. Exactly right.
Great.
So with that's all I have on my agenda, unless there's anything else I can help you with here.
Yes.
Can you hear me okay?
Just
Yes.
Great. So, appreciated Reese's update and, just the comment about the Ag Partners, land swap or conveyance issue. I just want to make that clear. I think Reese, said it right, but I just want to reiterate that. So there is some road right-of-way, some road rights that the city has in the Ag Partners property that they'd like to have to control themselves. And so their request is really, as I understand it, that the city vacate that road right-of-way. And so that council is understanding that correctly, and I think probably council gets this, but so a road is like an easement over property that another party may own. So Ag Partners is presumed to own the land under the road easement. And so if the city were to vacate the road, Ag Partners would own that land. So they're really asking us just to vacate the road there, which is not apparently publicly used. And there's a process for doing that, and we can work that through going forward. But there is no conveyance. There's no deed or conveyance from the city that's required. The city would just release or vacate the road, and that land would then return to Ag Partners control. So I just want to be clear about that sort of before you get to the next step, if that's what the council wants to do. The next step would be a public hearing, and so I just want you to be clear about how that would work. That's all I had to say.
If Bob, would that property then be assessed back to Ag Partners, and that would become, it would go on to their tax roll as we vacate that road?
Yeah, so Mayor and Council, when cities have a road right-of-way over land, which again is like an easement, that land that's the road right-of-way isn't taxed.
Okay.
That's right. So if a city vacates or releases the road right-of-way, it returns to the underlying owner and they will be taxed on that land. That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Reese? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Reese. So, Gas Commission. Bob, I think you wanted to address that.
Yeah, so I'm back. Yeah, so I've provided a memo to the council about the gas commission loan that I suspect council members are all aware of. If you're not, ask questions, please. But, so the gas commission, which is let's be clear, because there's been a little lack of clarity about this. The gas commission is a entity, a subsidiary entity to the city council that the city formed back, many years ago. But it's a city-formed entity that provides gas to residents in the city. It's got a separate board, a separate body that runs the gas commission, but it's a city entity ultimately. The city appoints at least 2 of the members to the commission. And so I've provided a memo about a loan that the gas commission took, which needed some correction, needed some fixing up. There were 2 issues about the loan that was taken at the beginning of last year, near the beginning of last year. First, the amount on the loan was incorrect. Apparently, the gas commission had taken a loan that was a fair amount less than the loan documents indicated. And of course, the loan documents say what the party that's taking the loan has to pay back. So it's important that they be correct. And that apparently has been corrected, as I understand it. And then secondly, the gas commission loan, which was originally in the amount of $500,000 plus, which has now been corrected to $315,000, would cause to be security or collateral for the loan, sort of everything that the gas commission owns, all of its accounts receivable, all of its assets, everything that the gas commission has. And that's not legal. State law restricts a loan that a utility commission like the gas commission takes to only its receipts, only its revenues going forward. And so I've suggested that the loan should be changed, should be corrected to reflect that. And Kyle from the gas commission has asked me in the last day or so how to do that. I haven't gotten back to him yet, but anyway, that's the issue. I'm bringing that as your city attorney to your attention because, not because I'm the gas commission's attorney, I can be their attorney. I'm not sure if I am or not. I would leave that up to them. They are a separate entity at this point, but so whether I'm their attorney or not is a separate question. But I'm the city attorney, and this is a subsidiary entity to the city, and so I'm just reporting this to the city that I'm working on that, as is the attorney in my office that's more knowledgeable about municipal public financing issues, including utility commission financing issues. She's, indicated what I've indicated to you, to me. And so, anyway, so this is an update. I'm not sure, Mayor, if I need to go further than that. I think we're working through those issues. I would say, I guess I would just say as this is maybe extraneous to my role as the city attorney, but the gas commission, as I understand it, is a public entity, right? It's a body that the city council and the city has formed to run your gas service in town. that body is subject to the open meeting law, and so they need to comply with that. And so I would just say that I would remind the gas commission that they have to comply with the open meeting law. And Mayor, I know you're the representative from the city council to the gas commission, and you're aware of that. And so I just would make that point here publicly. So I can answer questions or give you more information if you have questions about it.
Anybody have any questions?
We did bring Paul from First Neighbors Merchants. He's the one we've been working with alone. I don't know if you want, if there's anything to explain that we need to do.
Well, it's figured out and corrected then, right?
Somewhat.
Okay.
If the rules are that you can't have more than just the receivables, that has not been corrected. The note amount has been modified.
Does, Wayne, you're in the gas commission, do you have any questions about it?
About,
About what he just talked about?
well, I guess we'd like him to send us the statute that he's referring to. And as far as the open meeting law, we have a job to run a business, and we thought we were complying with the open meeting law. I mean, this issue with the loan was a result of the change of signatures at the bank, and that got kind of confusing. Kyle was out of the country at the time, and we needed to, get stuff corrected because we had a payment. The reason why we went to the bank to begin with is because we operate somewhat differently than the city. If we don't have to bond for something, it's cheaper for us. And when I mean us, I mean first the gas business, right? And therefore, it's, our goal is not to be a liability to the city. And, we've been in business since 1996. And instead of being a liability, there's been oftentimes, we've been asked to help with some city projects. We've most generally turn those down because we have a fiduciary responsibility that we have to keep a healthy reserve, and we've proven that in the past in more than one occasion. One was when they rebuilt Goodyear County 6. In the beginning, when things were being negotiated back in 1996, how they're going to do it stuff, the gas board questioned the county at the time, saying, if you ever rebuild Goodyear County 6, and we put the gas main or our gas line here, what's going to happen when you rebuild? Don't worry about it. We'll work around it. Well, fast forward, it cost us over $500,000, and they didn't work around us. Fortunately, we had a balance, cash on hand of $500,000, and so we paid for that. Fast forward, we've had opportunities, asked by the city if we would participate in this new shed, and we said, we have to build our reserve up first. And we've had, numerous opportunities. We do some things that you know, we feel is within our budget, like we might, supply gas to the swimming pool at no charge. I don't know, what else do we do?
If I could just interrupt for a minute, though, I appreciate your comments. The subject at hand was the actual loan. So I think if we wanna have something else at some point about what you do, we know you guys do a
Well,
lot of.
this is, you know, follow-up and why we, you know, if we don't have to bond, we don't bond, because even the bond, the $1 million bond that was originally taken out when this project began, we did pay it off early. And we needed to, because we needed to, you know, stay ahead of the game for future expenses, because like us, when we have to fix something or change something, you know, we can't do it ourselves, and it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so we elected to talk with Paul at the bank. We thought, you know, like I said, originally, we thought we would possibly need $500,000. And we didn't. And I guess, we thought we were okay just by reducing the amount that we would actually draw. And I don't know, maybe Paul can help us out with how.
Well, yeah, we did it as a bond. You would've got all the money on around February 22nd. Who knows what the rate would have been. And you would have your payment set up, there it is. We did it as a drawdown line of credit. You actually did advance money until into April, and then into July, and then into February of the next year. So my calculations, if the bond was the same as the interest rate, price-wise, you guys saved about $7,800 so far just on interest costs.
Yeah, well, I think the thing that Bob brought up is that we have to do it according to what's legal.
Yeah, no, we're not concerned about that. If we need to modify it again, we can, we will. We'll probably charge a small fee to do it.
Yeah.
But, we deem it unsecured anyway, so you think we're gonna go out and dig up utility lines?
No, I don't.
Absolutely not.
But
Whatever.
we as a city
Yeah,
council
yeah,
have to,
Yeah.
Yes,
Mayor, I'm sorry to interrupt. The loan is not unsecured. The loan is secured by every asset of the gas commission. So it's not okay to say that you believe that it's unsecured. There is a UCC financing statement that secures the loan against every asset of the gas commission. And that's not legal. So I'm sorry that people may misunderstand that. That's the documents I've been provided. That has to be corrected. And the gas commission has to operate under the open meeting law. It's not okay to say that it's inconvenient or difficult to comply with the open meeting law because people are out of town. That's true for the city council too. But that it has to be complied with. I guess I'm giving that advice to the city council again, and you don't need to hear that. The city council complies with the open meeting law. It's not okay though. The gas commission has to comply, and that loan has to be modified. That's what the law requires. So it's not a question of what the city attorney thinks should be done. That's just what the law requires. So I'll stop there, but that's difficult for me to hear from a gas commission member. We have to comply with the law. Period.
yeah, that's what I was stating. So, I guess in order to move forward, we have to figure out where we want to go from here. You know, as far as obtaining the loan.
I can remodify it
Well,
in a
yeah.
couple days, whatever.
And I think we as the council, I'm not sure, I'm not speaking for everybody, but myself, if it's legal, we'll do it. You know, if it's not legal, as he says, then we can't do it. Even if it saves us $7,000.
Can't do what?
We can't just say, go ahead and do it. We have to abide by the law.
Would it be helpful if, anybody who wants the copies of the statutes? Everybody got
I was just looking.
Did Wayne get them?
We
Wayne
have,
did. Okay, we might need a,
That's what he asked for, the statute, right?
And we weren't directly asked these questions either.
Yeah.
I just found them out randomly.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing we found them out when we did.
Working on our communication between the
Yeah.
company and the city council.
Exactly.
And I would recommend that we would all have a special meeting between the two boards at some point, so we can all get on the same page.
Yep, I agree.
we repeatedly, extended an invitation to, the council to attend, our meetings, any meeting they want. We understand that because of the open meeting law, only one can be there because you
Yeah.
have another council person,
Yeah.
on the board, so, but, it hasn't been well.
Well, we need to work together, that's for sure, and we need to do it in the right way. Yeah. It's gonna be for the benefit of all of us, the gas commission and the city of Goodhue.
Right, and that's all we want.
Exactly, I believe that.
So Bob, you will continue to work with Kyle and the bank on correcting the terms of the loan?
Yeah, and Mayor, let me say, now that I've said my piece on a couple of points, I get the gas superintendent's point, Kyle's point, which he's made to me, which is that there's more flexibility in repayment terms with a private loan, and that's a perfectly legitimate reason. So I don't object, and we have no reason to object to the reason that the gas commission took the private loan as opposed to bonding. But we have to comply with the law, again. So, yes, Mayor, I will do that. I'll be happy to work that out with the bank and with the gas commission, and we'll figure it out.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Is it permissible for us to leave?
Yes, of course it is.
Could I say something? In your packets, I gave you guys kind of a brief rundown of like the history of the gas company and everything.
okay,
If you guys have questions before we can schedule a meeting.
I don't think we have any.
Properly.
Do we have?
Yeah,
And then give this here.
It's the same that I gave to you for
Yes.
like your first gas bill.
Yep.
That's all I need to have that, like, a little more informed.
Yeah,
It's this
we
one.
get on the same page, that's great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
that sounds good.
Appreciate your time.
Oh, right here.
Thank you guys.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next on the agenda, liquor license approval.
So one little tidbit with that, I did check in with Chief Smith, and he said that there's not been any violations and no questions or concerns for either establishment, so I checked that out before.
That's good.
I'll move that we approve the license.
Need a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
now they're about $2,300,
$23.50.
$2,350 each.
Okay, spring quotes.
So that would be what we talked about, or yes, at the work meeting.
Yep.
I didn't print another copy of them, so typically we just accept them all, as we had spoken at that work meeting. Accept them all, and then if there's, maybe Joe, since you're working with, Public Works, you can have a review with Jason.
Sure.
To work out what you guys wanted for the details, I think.
Yep,
That was pretty,
it's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Yep.
And it makes sense to do it that way too, so I mean.
Right. So could I get a motion to accept the spring quotes?
So,
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Pool manager hire, so. So, Chris,
Yes,
you are
yes,
on that, correct? So Tori has agreed to come back as pool manager, correct? And so Tori and Chris, you are going to look over the applications with Tori for hiring lifeguards. It kind of goes into the next NG as well. Okay, so we first need a motion to approve Tori as the pool manager for 2023.
Is, I have a question, I talked to our city clerk and who, I mean, we take Tori's word that they have the proper credentials. I think we should see the papers ourselves. Just because if we have a problem up there and somebody gets hurt and then one of them doesn't have the proper credentials, well, then the city's liable. So I think we should check all the credentials that she hires.
yep, and I did talk to Jill about that earlier this week, asking about certs, and I said, do we have them? No, we don't. We need to make sure that we have them on file, they are updated, because if something were to happen, we need to make sure that we are covered.
Exactly.
And Jill is gonna work on that with Tori and all the applicants. And I would say that upon hiring a person, before they can be offered a job, they can be given a conditional offer of employment, but before they are hired on, they need to provide those
Certification.
certs. Correct. So, yes, cause in the past, we haven't had that, and we will.
Yeah, we can't have a hearsay because it's kind of like the gas commission where the county says, don't worry about it.
Correct.
Well, you don't worry about it until you're hind ends in the grinder, and then you got big problems.
So if we have to, when it comes to the lifeguard, if we have to make sure that when they submit their application, they need to submit their
Certification.
certifications
Yep.
with that. If they don't, then we can reach out and say, can you send us whatever we need, so, yeah.
Yep.
Well, then they should be WSI and CPR certified. BLS,
Yes,
basically,
Yeah.
sport. So,
and I think for lifeguards, I think it's just CPR certified. I don't know how far they go into that, and I know for us, it has to be deep water.
mhm.
And I think we talked about it, the only one in the area that does that is the Y in Red Wing, but I don't know who else might do that. So, yeah, just
Yeah.
make sure that we have all the certs before we.
Yeah, we have to do that with everything. We can't take anybody's word for anything anymore. Not that we're mistrusting people, but we have to cover
cover
ourselves.
Yep.
I agree, thank you.
So the first thing that we need to do is,
Offer Tori the job.
correct,
I move that we give Tori the pool manager position this year. She did it very well last year. I think she handled herself very well, and I think she'd be a good fit for it.
I would highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
She was one of the ones that I go to the pool several times a week, and she was one of the ones that was in the rotation with the lifeguards. So she's not afraid to get her hands dirty. So I
Yeah,
give it Jason. I think
do
she-
we need to discuss anything about, you know, when the lifeguards are there, that they can't be inside doing whatever, they need to be out at their positions? Is that something we have to address?
Yes, yeah, we'll have to address that because I know there was an incident last year, and
That's what I heard. So
Yeah.
That's
and
what I
it
was
was
wondering.
they need to be on the understanding that when there's people in the pool, they cover their section. There's
Section,
three
right.
different sections outside, and they have to cover
Yeah.
those based on where people are at in the pool.
Right.
So
Okay, good.
Can I add something? I think that probably before the pool opens, having a, maybe just a quick meeting with them to explain that, and then other things on what they are to call us as public works for. If they notice something like an accident in the pool or
Bio
a strange
stuff
noise
like that, yep.
or some sort of,
Exactly.
just so they're a little bit more aware. And it was hands down a good crew last year. It really went well, but I
Yeah.
just think the quick communication, I agree with you.
Exactly, if it's a motor that's squealing,
Or,
they should bring it to our attention.
exactly, you can't be there all day.
Right, you can, yeah. We have more things for you to do.
So I did touch base with Tori, today, gave her Chris's contact, and I said that Public Works, but I think that having a meeting with as many, Tori's finishing up, college this week, so she'll be in the area next week to start coming around and gathering the information that needs to be updated, so she'll be here soon.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to hire Tori Rader as pool manager. So we have.
Second.
And it was seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I think G, when we looked at that, so Chris and Tori will be looking at those applications, and they will be hiring lifeguards based on whether their certificates are up to date, correct, current, and we also have files on them.
And like I told
Yeah.
Jill, I'm completely fine with Tori hiring these people. She's gonna know them the best. But at the end of the day, the city's gonna have the overall say so. And as long as they have their certifications, they meet the requirements met by us, then I'm okay with hiring that person. Like I said, most of the people that are coming back or that are gonna be getting a job are the ones that have done it in the past. So I'm okay with Tori hiring them, like I said, as long as they meet the
Yeah,
requirements.
somebody from the city has to personally look at the,
Yeah, and I'll come down with Jill
Certificates.
and look at all the applications.
Okay.
or whatever.
Could I get a motion for pool manager and Chris to hire lifeguards?
So,
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Pool fees. Jill, you wanna address that?
Yeah, so last year we went, from $30 to $40, so in 2022, it was set at $40 for the lessons. So we just seen the increase last year. Pool passes, they did an increase on that as well. They set it at 70. Pool family passes is 150. So again, that was addressed last year. So let's just take those first three items first before we get into the letter 4. In your packet, I got the prices for the city of Zumbrota. They do theirs a little bit differently, based off of a resident and non-resident. Again, we're gonna, my first thought with that is we do have a lot of, I mean, they're all teenagers that are there. Tori's still a teenager, she's 19, 20, whatever she is. For them to also have to dictate who is a resident and a non-resident, because I don't take care of that here. She takes care of them at the pool. I can help do passes, but only up until the pool first opens. So I think that's gonna be one more thing just to take care of. So,
Well, and to add to that, we are a community.
Yep.
And so we don't need to differentiate between resident, non-resident. No.
and then, I didn't hear back from the 2 other cities that, I had reached out to. So we don't really have a lot to go off of. I just know that we just did the increase last year. We already know that the pool is under a bond. It's not always making, it's paying for the lifeguards. It's doing what it's supposed to do. But until we get that bond paid for, this is just kind of what we're gonna see. I guess I would suggest to the council, if you're gonna increase it, I would do a slight increase to keep it happy and healthy and workable. I wouldn't, because it's children's fun. It's been noted as an amenity it's a safe place for children to be able to go to, and it's affordable for the parents and families. So I guess that's my thought on that. So I guess.
Well, we already know the city loses money every year on the pool, so it
Yep.
doesn't, I mean, where we're at right here seems fair to me.
Yeah, so if we
Versus the
just
price.
leave it at this for one more year and reevaluate
I
it.
think we could,
Okay.
yeah, myself.
Sounds easy.
And it is listed on their pool pass, that family pass, that it has to be immediate family. It's not grandparents, it's not
Yeah.
babysitter, and that's for the most part, they will really be able to tell who that is because the lifeguards are from this area. So, and there's never one lifeguard looking at this paperwork, there's multiple people, so there's that. The letter 4, pool party reservation. So typically, the pool is reserved for a 1 hour time spot, and that's for 35 people or less, and it pays $50 per hour. And if it's 35 people or more, then they need to have a minimum of 3 lifeguards. I will say that only maybe 2 times off the top of my head was it more than 35 people. They have always had, they've never had to turn anybody away for, to the best of my knowledge. But what does happen, has happened in the past, is it's been approved that lifeguards, when they do a pool party, that money, so say I wanted to book a pool party, I would bring the money in, and that money would be automatically divided by the 2, say I had 29 people there. That money was then divided out to the lifeguards for that pool party. So they got paid $25 each to do that pool party. I guess it is a little, I can see the point of it being a little bit of an incentive. However, that money, the city never got to see a portion of that. That money went strictly back out to the lifeguards. Does that make sense?
And these are after hour,
These are after hours. This is from the 5 to 7 p.m. time.
okay.
So
My question is if they're being paid differently, other than by a check for the city, are they covered liability-wise?
Right.
Bob, are you still there? Did he go?
I am still here. I'm trying to reconnect my video. Yes, here I am.
Okay.
I'm back.
So we're questioning the pool parties that we have in the community, and it's been in the past that the monies that are collected are then just divided among the lifeguards who are working. But when that money is not coming back to the city and we're not paying them by a check, are they covered liability-wise? Because they're not on the clock with us. That would be my concern.
I'm leaning over my skis a little bit about sort of the details. You know, I'm just hearing this for the first time, but I will say that that is not a great arrangement. I mean, the typical arrangement would be that the city approves and schedules parties at city facilities like a community center or a pool or whatever. You collect a fee for using your facility, and you pay people to be there, employees to be there, you know, whether temporary or permanent employees to be there based on your agreed upon wage with those employees. So the idea that people are gonna sort of be there that are city employees but get paid directly by patrons is not, it's that, for a variety of reasons, that's not the best approach. Let me stop there.
That's what I thought.
Well, I guess my thing is, so they're not getting paid their hourly rate,
Correct.
but they're gonna get a lump sum of whatever the pool rate is. So maybe thinking outside the box, say we charge $100 for a private pool party, we pay a lifeguard double their rate, and that allows them to come in and work, because if they pay them $25 a person for 2 lifeguards for an hour of $35 people or less, that's cash money. And that's almost like it's cash money under the table. So now they're not paying taxes on something that they're working. So I think that all reservations should probably come through here or at the pool, and that money comes back to the city somehow, and we pay them, so there's no violations of some sort of tax law. Our lifeguards that are working, what happens when our lifeguard gets hurt? They're not on the clock.
Right.
So, I mean, there's so many different variables that I see there that I don't like the idea of, let's pay them cash money at the time, and then we don't see any of it, and they're just kind of pocketing it.
So just a little 2 cents. In addition to that, I was gonna suggest that it probably would be, something to consider to have an incentive to be able to have them work a pool party, because generally speaking, they've worked either lessons, the pool hours, and then they're still staying. So once it gets to be August, and then if they're picking those, that's a long day for a teenager and that is what happens. So many lifeguards want to be there in June and July, and then comes August, and then they're not wanting to work as much. So I think that it might be something worth considering to have that incentive to work to be paid a little bit more than their regular hourly wages, because even if you double their hourly wages, it still comes in that $25 range, because most of them are between $11.50 and $13. So it was 50-cent raise. So it's $11.50 to start on your first year, and then it's $12 on your second year. And then Tori and last year she had picked 2 head lifeguards. Yeah, 2 head lifeguards. So when she's not in session, when she's not there, that she has 1 person that's always there. So she ended up picking 2, so they didn't have to all, but they never worked the same.
Right.
Yes.
So I was trying to be the bad guy only one time during this meeting, and not twice, but I'm gonna be the bad guy twice. I think that if you checked in with the League of Minnesota Cities that provides your insurance, the concept that you would have teenaged or slightly older lifeguards that would be on the clock for the city, but then would stay for after time parties or different time parties, and sort of divvy up the proceeds of the payment for that party. I think the league would tell you that's not going to be insured by them, which would not allow that activity to happen. I would ask you to check with them about that, but I have a feeling that's just not, again, I don't think that's a way forward. I think you're going to have to schedule activities at your pool, including parties, have employees that are paid by the city be there during scheduled activities, and deal with the payment by the party that's scheduled the activity through the city. I don't think there's another way to deal with that.
Did I miss anything? I thought that.
That's what we said.
That's what we said.
That's what we said.
He just covered it, yeah. So you could just state it that they just get paid double time then, or?
Yeah, I think that would be.
Kind of, yeah, like I said,
That makes
just an
sense.
incentive to,
Absolutely.
they're
Just
working.
say,
Who
And that's
wants
fair
to
enough.
work
Yeah,
late?
if they're gonna, they should get paid double time for that pool party.
I mean, they're working a special task.
Yeah.
It's not like it's gonna be something every single day. But like I said, if we charged a flat rate of $100,
And these pool parties do end at 8 o'clock. I know they can't stay after like 9:45 under the age of 16 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's all being followed.
So when do we have to have the pool party kind of knocked down?
So I do have one person penciled in for, she knows that it was coming up there. So the pool party thing is still workable.
Okay.
As far as lessons, that kind of needed to be locked in.
And those are,
Yep.
and the fees. So could we table the pool party reservations and talk about it at our work meeting, just so we can
Sure.
kind of hash it out a little bit more and make sure we're falling within the parameters of the law? Okay, so let's do that. So, I need a motion on maintaining the lessons at $40 an hour, the pool single pass at $70, and the pool family pass at $150. So I need a motion to leave those the same as last year.
I motion.
Okay, can I get a second?
we'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. On the pool party reservations, we'll table that for now. We'll put it on the agenda for our work meeting and discuss it and try to come up with a reasonable plan there. Okay? Sound good, Jill?
Yeah.
Okay. Next item, summer help lawn mowing. There are applications that you received in your packets.
So sorry, so yourself and Joe got them because you're on the hiring committee.
Okay.
I didn't see anything.
My apologies if
That's-
everybody else wanted them. I
No.
certainly can get them.
So, Joe, this would be a good opportunity that we could get together and look these over with Jason, and then we can make our determination
Sure.
on the hiring, okay?
Yep.
So, for that, item I, we will table that for now, and Joe and I, as the personnel committee, will work with Jason on the summer help.
Do we gotta do the rest of it though, that black pool meter and the valve purchase and stuff? You gonna do anything with that tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's next.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Public Works update, Jason.
Okay, so I got a couple things. Every year, we have a lot of contractors, boring fiber optic people that are farmers that are looking for water from the city to purchase. We've always been accommodating, however, there's new safety measures that are very important to follow. And so I'm asking you guys, I attached a couple quotes, I don't know if you all seen them, for the backflow protection valve and a meter to be attached to this, and even maybe Reese could help me if there's something I'm missing. But what that does is when you have people coming to buy water, you can leave the hydrant on, wide open, there'll be a valve for them to turn, and then there'll be a meter on that, so instead of just guessing how much water they're taking by the size of their truck, they say it's 2,000 gallons,
So who's monitoring how much they get?
the meter will.
Okay,
And I will be in charge of deciding who gets the water. And I'm probably gonna put the meter right here at this hydrant, right behind City Hall, so if contractors come, we'll have that backflow protection valve, the meter, all on that hydrant. The hydrant will remain on, which it can. They'll be able to come and go and get water as they feel. You know, usually it's just one contractor.
Yeah.
I know Goodrich County has a huge paving project, County 4. They Rochester Sand and Gravel approaching, they want to purchase some water from us. So we can also use it for this project if they need water. But the long and short of it all, you need to have a backflow protection valve to legally and safely sell water from your city. So I did attach two quotes. I got one from Core Maine and one from Meteor Technologies, the same thing.
Why the difference?
Quite a difference. Yep.
Well, one of them's a 3-inch and.
Well, they're both gonna
Interweb.
go, yeah, they'll both go on 2.5 inch outlets on the hydrant. The other thing with this, I did do some research, and I think we need to raise the price for bulk water by $25 to help pay for this. And that would be in accordance to what I did for research. You know, it's $25 per 3,000 gallons. So that is the gist of the water valve and the price per 3,000. And like I said, they're still gonna have to talk to either Todd or I, or even Jill could help with this. And then we'll tell them where to go. They will be instructed on how to use it, and most contractors use them in every city. We're probably the one of the last ones to get one, actually. And that way, if they leave their holes hooked up, nothing can get contaminated back into the main.
So, I guess one of my questions is if you have it down here, and say Bob comes down and at 8 o'clock at night, is it only gonna be operational during business hours?
No, it'll be
So if
operational.
he comes up and says, hey, I just got 8,000 gallons, can he reset the meter? If he comes and gets, say, 2,000 gallons, and then Mike comes and gets 2,000 gallons, is it up to the individual to reset the meter? And do we take their word for it? Or if he gets 2,000 gallons, and then this guy gets 2,000 gallons, and this guy gets 2,000 gallons, is there a track record of everybody that got water while you guys were away?
I
Or
think
is that where
that's where this.
this internet one comes in where it sends a, I'm assuming that says.
Well, that's what it does.
LTE.
Send it to your phone. I think that's overkill. I think because it's mostly just gonna be one contractor, and I'm planning on putting a plastic clipboard like you have at the park shelter for the rentals, putting a clipboard on that well or pole somewhere over there. So if they come in, they write down the beginning numbers, they take their water, and if it's only one, we'll just look in the morning, monitor ourselves. That's how we did it when I worked other places too. You just, whatever the starting number is.
I guess
the
I'm
ending
just
number.
assuming that, I guess in my head, there's gonna be 13 people
No.
lined up at night to. So
No.
then, can you remove this? Because I know in the past.
Well, that's the other thing I was gonna add, Chris. The other thing we can use it for is if you have a person that built a pool, for instance. I mean, a pool can hold, ours holds 220,000 gallons of water. A small pool holds 10, 12,000, and we're taking the citizen's word that it holds 10,000 gallons, it can hold 20, we don't know, without going to measure it. So the other thing that other cities have done is, and I've talked to Terry a little bit about this, they charge $100 to hook it up, to have us hook it up to the hydrant near your house. You hook it up, they fill the pool, it's all metered. They pay for their water at the bulk commercial rate of, 3,000 gallons. $75 per 3,000 gallons, but then you have an accurate read, and you have the protection that you're not contaminating the water. And I mean,
Right, you don't get that backbeat.
yeah, and so, the only other option is if we don't do it, we're not gonna be selling any more water. Whatever
Well,
it
and I think
takes to be done. Right.
I think it's a great idea to have this. I think this is something that.
I think it'll pay for itself.
It will
Yeah.
take care of itself.
So I'm looking for a motion to purchase the lower bid of the two.
Yeah, but why is there so much a difference in the bid? Is it the materials is it like a brass to a, just?
Gold plated.
Gold plated, yeah.
Gold plated.
One's top of the line, and then this core main one's your basic.
Right.
And he has been good on pricing with me too, so he probably wanted our business more than the other one also, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I definitely go with the corn and main for the price difference.
So I don't know if you wanna do a motion to, you're gonna have to do a motion to raise the price by $25
Yes,
for
we
the
will.
3,000, and then to purchase the valve with the backflow protection. And maybe we can talk later about what we have for people with pools, because that's gonna take 2 men some time, not a lot of time, but 2 guys to move it and set it up. So we can probably-
And I thought, talking about pools, I thought in the past, they said that the city was not going to be responsible for filling people's pools. Did I hear that wrong?
Well, you're gonna use the water, but either they'll.
I mean, I know that
The other.
there's one that's the pool that's right off of number 9.
Yep.
They keep their water.
And then there's the new one
Yep.
that just got built up here, and I thought during that time frame, our previous
The previous council directed me to sell them water, so we did. And I did the measurements that you learn in CPO school, so I measured what it was, 6 inches down from what he needed it, and that's what we were, and I don't remember what it was. That's how we determined how much water is in it.
Well, with the meter, we got the ability to know what they.
Yes.
That's where Goodhue County will probably be looking for water, because they're gonna do a big project on 6, they're doing County 4, 53, and I don't know if they're gonna come here to get water the whole time, but then also when they do the roundabout, I guarantee you they'll be looking for water. So,
Well, I will make a motion to get this backflow meter through core main. The hydrant meter in the backflow.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Could I get a motion to raise the rate by $25 for 3,000 gallons?
So moved.
So it'll be a total of 75 for 3,000?
yes, 75 for 3,000.
Okay.
And that's in line with most other communities.
I'll second that we do 75 for 3,000.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I got 2 other things I'd like to talk about quick. I know I've been talking to you somewhat about doing some seal coat yet. I would like for you guys to decide which direction we want to go with for the water main relocation before we okay the seal coat. They told me their Pearson Brothers can do $20,000 worth of seal coat. I gave them a list of streets, I need to add a few more. They also said I could have some more time if I need it for you guys to decide on what you want to do budget-wise. They're still available to come get through July or even early August. And then the other thing that I want to touch on quick, we talked about last board meeting with the spring coats is we have from time to time rented Todd's skid loader. We got that worked out. He sent in a quote. And I don't know if you got it in your package, but it's in here if you want to see it.
I'm not sure that I got it.
No,
Maybe I forgot to give it to you.
So if we get one on file for Jill, that
Yep.
should be good.
Yep. And then we went through with Bob the scenario on how he will be the sole operator and he'll be renting it to us just for, like I said, we make a list of projects to do it. So, and if there's any other questions, the rest of it I just wrote down what we were doing and keeping up on. And you got any questions?
What is the cost for the skid loader?
75.
75?
Yep.
A day or
An hour.
an hour? Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
You don't work for them.
I don't work for the city.
All right. Any other questions for Jason?
All right, thank you.
And you're still, I'm sorry, you're still waiting on that one part still?
For what?
For the air compressor?
No, we got it.
Okay.
It's up and running. Works amazing.
Perfect.
Yep, nice.
Thank you.
Before
In
we,
regard to the water main and the street projects, I talked to Jason about this and, we may have to, before the end of May, have a special meeting to talk about that water main and what we're gonna do, because it does have an impact on, if we do that, does Jason have to cut and not do what he wants to do as far as seal coating? I mean, our budget is pretty
where is the water main?
underneath.
The one under 58.
Oh, the one under 58,
So I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that's a big topic that
Yeah.
we need to be looking at, so just be aware of that.
I would like to say, we're gonna go tomorrow down to Public Works. I would really like to do some seal coating. I did get a quote for that. I didn't attach that because we got other things to talk about, but we could do $5,000 in seal coat, or not seal coat, crack filling. That would really help.
That would help a lot.
That would be less money than the seal coat. It would seal some things up to get us on another year. But we need to sit down tomorrow and discuss the options. So.
Okay, so I'll keep the council informed after our meeting tomorrow. Public comment. Did anybody sign in? Talk for public?
Did you?
No.
I didn't sign in.
She didn't sign in.
Did you want to speak?
I did.
Okay.
I just wanted to bring something to your attention about Volksfest as far as what's going on that's kind of affecting my business at Dar's Pub. Every year it seems that the putting up the stage starts earlier and earlier. The street used to be blocked off starting noon on Friday. Then it was late evening Thursday night. And last year all parking was blocked starting Thursday morning. So this was a huge loss for Dar's. Over 50% of my business is off sale. And people need to be able to park close, run in and run out. When they can't get within 3 blocks of the door, they go somewhere else. Last year on Thursday, we had less than 10 people all day. Then on Friday, I seen maybe 2 customers all day till 5 p.m., which is generally my busiest day. And I'm talking thousands of dollars between Thursday and Friday just in off sale. And then the entrance to the street dance used to be in the middle of the block. People coming in or out would have to go by one bar or the other. There wasn't one bar closer than the other. Both bars would see a fair number of customers throughout the night. Now the only entrance or exit is a block and a half from Dar's. Anyone that might want to come out of the dance for a while will not go so far from the entrance. So basically the way it is now, we have no customers after 9 p.m. Friday night, Saturday night. And then the JC started selling liquor, which just was another setback for both the bars. Over the past few years, we've expressed our concerns with the JCs. We are told that's just how it has to be. I know they do a lot of work and it's not easy planning all the setup, but when I go from having the best weekend of the year to barely an average weekend, it's very frustrating. And when I express my concerns, I'm called names. Last April, I, my husband, and my bartender Bonnie met with 2 JCs, hoping we could come up with some solution. We were told all they could do was have an exit only in the middle of the block. We thought, well, that would be great. At least a little traffic would come from that if they wanted to come out and do something different. Well, then when Friday Volksfest came, there was no exit there. Again, we expressed our feelings and got nowhere. We were told they never agreed to that, which was a lie. Then they said they didn't have enough people to patrol the exit if they did make it. And so then we even found 2 volunteers that said they would man the exit. And again, we were ignored. And I'm not trying to make things difficult, but I just don't feel I should have to lose money over a Volksfest weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's a big weekend for everybody.
Well, it pays a lot of her bills for the
And it
year.
should-
too.
Right.
It comes at a time before all our July dram shop and liquor license, and it's kind of, we depend on that, but.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just start this off as you guys are thinking about this stuff. One, last year was a new for Public Works to be able to assist with coming in. So I'm glad that you brought this to the attention of the council to come forward to be able to share that, because with the changing of the Public Works and how they were shutting down the street. So I think that was something that kind of
We
needed to
didn't
be.
shut it down.
No, but
All of it.
remember how the barricades got put up and all of that process?
Oh, yes.
So we're glad that you bringing this to light, because we are almost in May. So that you're bringing that to the city's attention to be able to do it, because Jason was new last year and has to help man what's going on with that street. So
And can I add something new?
Yeah.
I got a phone call at home saying, why did you set up the barricades? I said, neither of us did. I was taken upon by other people to set the street up. So then there was a council person that was there and took them back down. He talked to me and said he did, and I said, well, I didn't put them up. And then they continued to just set up. So that's gonna take more than just Public Works to enforce. These guys are probably gonna have to help step in and monitor when they close the street down.
So
I
what's
think
what's
we-
been, oh, go ahead, sorry.
I think we should put this on our work
I
night.
think you're right, Joe. I
Yeah.
really do.
This is
I mean,
important.
This
it
is
needs,
important.
there needs to be an exit in the middle of that, so it's
Right.
fair to both bars.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And if they don't wanna do that, you know, they've been pretty demanding in recent years as their thing has expanded and expanded, like you say, with the liquor. You know, I didn't even know they could sell liquor in there. Yeah, my thoughts are, we'll do this at the workshop, but my thoughts are there needs to be an exit in the middle of the block so that patrons can go either way.
Right.
I mean, it is very unfair to DAR that they would go out the end. Well, it's logical, the bar's right there. Why would you walk to the other end when you know, you're having a great time and you're just looking for the closest
Right.
whatever.
Well, and if the the entry point was halfway, I guess my question would be is why was that changed? That they put it down on the other end?
I think because of the food.
Sure.
Because of the
Always so many
food.
logistics work best there. That's
Yeah.
what I was always told.
So, okay.
But you would be good with the entryway, the exit in the middle? You know, I mean, let's put the exit in
Yeah,
the
it's
middle and give
something.
everybody the chance to
Right.
choose which way they wanna go.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because I agree with you, walking out that end and then walking all the way
Or
down.
just they
to
don't
your
ever go
place.
down, yeah.
It's a detour.
Right.
And then did you say Thursday, a different shutdown time?
This last year, I think it was shut down right away when I got there and opened at 10, I think.
On Thursday?
Thursday afternoon, they shut it down after we left, if I remember right.
They were starting to put the.
But I think
stage up
I think
earlier.
you're right.
Yeah.
I think
mean,
you were
it might not
there.
have been closed off, but they were already putting the stage up.
Yeah.
Cause I know I could go to the hardware store and I could drive around 4 blocks to get there.
I think maybe they can put the stage up, but at least allow you guys to have access to your business, and at least through that intersection.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You gotta keep the
Whatever.
business owners happy.
We're just gonna have to make a time.
Right.
Yeah.
You said it, we'll talk about it
Yeah.
at work.
So I've noted those two things, two things for work. Is there anything else?
So,
Well, and what about, I guess me just thinking again outside the box, and this is something that I do for my business, is, you know, I see what you're saying is, you know, the entrance and exit on that one side of the street, everybody goes to that part of town. What happens if an emergency happens? Tony knows all exactly what I'm talking about because him and I have worked together. Now you have every single person that's in that venue that's trying to get out one area. Why do we not have two? One on each side of the street, you know, an entrance, whether it's, you know, you put something on the sidewalk side of it, now you're getting, say, 10,000 people out onto a sidewalk that isn't built to hold that many people. It's a what we call a fatal funnel. You have 10,000 people in a 12-foot wide walkway. So my thing is if you're gonna have an opening on the, the south side, why not have it on the north side as well? So that way you have 2 avenues to come in, 2 avenues to go out. Hopefully both bars are, you know, getting something from it. I understand there's a stage there, but you know, you gotta have multiple ways in and out of this thing, because if something happens, God forbid something happens, you need a evac route. And that's just the way it is. You have a medical emergency up towards the front of the stage. How is our EMS or our police department going to get to the front of the stage if the only entrance into this place is on the south side of the venue? See what I'm saying? So look at the bigger, and I agree with what Dar's saying, but I'm looking at it as a different point of view, as let's have multiple entrances and exits. And if the JCs can't accommodate that, then maybe they need to hire some more security or go a different route. But right now, the last thing we need is something big to happen in our small community and draw a lot of attention to us.
So I got a text message from somebody that's on the JCs. They state that there are 2 exits, but I guess that will be for further discussion that it needs to be mapped out.
we,
Well, I
we
think
should
we're
not
gonna-
be receiving text messages into a council meeting. Okay, that's not appropriate at this time. So,
In our work meeting, I think
Yes.
we are gonna decide where the two exits and entrances are
Right,
gonna
right.
be.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
They're not gonna tell us,
right,
because it can't be all gravy for them.
absolutely.
So would you be willing to leave your concerns with us, Dar?
This paper?
Yes, so we can bring it to our work meeting,
Yep.
and so we have those instead of all wondering,
What
what
she said.
exactly.
What she
Yeah,
said,
that would
yes.
be wonderful,
That's
and we'll definitely address
Absolutely.
these things. Great,
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much,
very
Scott.
Do you need a copy of it all, or you got it?
okay, thank you very much,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Want me to sign it?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Motion to approve the bills.
We got one more.
One more. Did you sign in?
Yes, I did, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
I like that.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little nervous, first time speaking on one of these things, but to address some of the things that Dara was saying, yes, one of the issues that was brought up is the hiring of security, because probably like most businesses, they're struggling hiring. Sorry, I'm a little nervous right now.
It's okay, it's okay.
It's all right.
We're fine.
So the biggest, and there's other things, we talked about wanting to put in a VIP section, but like we say, our biggest problem is staffing. We do try our best to work with DARs, but when it comes to, and we are willing to put in an exit only on the sidewalk portion of that area, but the deal is we cannot put JC members there it has to be security guys, and they work in pairs. So, and most of the time, we're lucky if we get more than 8 people. Because last year, I think that's all we had, plus maybe a couple of our fine officers walking through the area. But
You mean you only have eight people working the whole event?
I think that's what we had.
Bartending and the whole works?
No, this is 8 security.
This is for
I
security.
think it was Premier, wasn't it?
No, Chris Hartley.
Okay, yep.
And
8 security officers in addition to RPD.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
the outlying.
Yeah, just wondering.
But anyway, I'm afraid that's all I'm gonna have for today. And I think
I think, Tom, we certainly, from the past, we understand the JC's concerns, and now hearing from Dar, I think we'll look at that at our work meeting and have a discussion and take all of those pieces into play and try to come up with a feasible plan for everybody. So at that point.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
You did great.
You did do good.
Thank you for coming and speaking. Good job, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Yep.
Ben.
Ben.
There you go.
Oh, it's close.
Tom,
Same
Ben,
family, same
Bob.
family.
Yeah.
Okay, motion to, not a motion, how about if we look at the bills? That'd be great. Okay.
No Kenny or Granny back there.
Yeah.
I thought it was Scott Ryan.
One thing that they're gonna say, JC's, well, you got out of it. So you gotta have everything
So,
that this is
Jill,
for the city.
on the first page,
You know, that
on
we need
receipts,
this for protection of people.
what
Right.
what
Or
is
whatever it is,
utilities
yeah.
reimbursement
Agree.
under gas commission?
They're
$10,346.
Okay, that's when I pay the, wages
Oh,
for
okay.
anybody that works there.
Perfect.
And then call rental. So
Yep,
if you go over to account name and drop down, it lists off exactly what that paid for.
okay, yep.
that was income.
So, and the fire training reimbursement, that's kind of in and out, isn't it?
Yep, so that'll get covered, that gets goes to the fire department, correct?
On page 2 of 15. Okay. So, in the middle there, it said Red Cedar consulting fee.
Yep, so that got charged on the credit card, because they do an ACH billing to us.
Well, that was for the
For-
Red
trailer.
Cedar was
The
that
mulch,
sexual harassment training.
Oh, sure, that's
Good
what
night,
that was.
thank you. You too.
Thanks.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, and wasn't that $5,000? Yeah, okay, okay. 2 of 15.
Oh, right there, okay.
Waiting for Liam.
Yes.
Snow plowing. Just a question, page 7 of 15. Lodemeyer's. Reimburse XL electric invoices, November 8, 2018
So-
to,
Lodemeyer's used to own the depot, and when the depot got sold from the city, sold to the city, then the city needed to be paying for the, that invoice.
Electric
okay,
But it was always being sent to Dick, so their bookkeeper caught on to that, and they brought us all of those receipts.
oh,
Then from the date that the city sold it to the Ryan family, then I divided out the receipts that, from that date, and
okay,
gave them to the
I
Ryan.
see, okay. It's interesting.
Well, we're right by the Goodhue signs,
Oh, yeah,
and I forgot that, I didn't catch it, that it wasn't on the agenda.
Oh,
Remember when we were talking at our work meeting, we were gonna talk about the other sign tonight,
oh, that's, yep.
Right.
but I missed it when I was looking at the agenda.
At least we got one coming.
Mhm.
and pages and pages.
And that's probably what we'll see, because we only have the one meeting a month.
Right.
We
Yeah,
always
yeah,
do.
okay, sure.
So it'll be kind of important to spend some time prior to council.
And it's more money out than in.
Yeah.
So-
Gosh,
Well,
imagine
just
that.
one of
City
those
never
months.
makes money.
Right, well, it's
Yeah.
one of the months, some months it looks a lot better too, this month there was just more stuff out you can see.
So one question on, and Tony might be able to answer this, but the camera rental at the Goodhue Car Wash.
Yep.
How do you guys access that from your office?
Yeah.
Or do you have to go down there?
We have access to some of the outer ones,
Okay,
but the interior ones we have to
Where
go
is
down
that?
there.
okay, but you have access to all of the cameras on that building? With the exception of
Where is
the
that?
inside, just the
Here, where is
exterior
that?
I
ones?
don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
Page what?
What page is
Oh, I'm
it?
sorry, that page 13, top,
Oh, it's
13 and 15 up at the top.
Would you
The
car wash?
$75 camera rental every month.
Yeah, okay.
Just seeing how, I guess, how often, or do you guys use it quite frequently?
usually it's when we're investigating like
Insane.
yeah,
Okay.
like the most common one would be like a stop arm violation that we use it for.
What?
School bus stop arm,
Oh, okay.
like somebody goes around the school bus with a stop arms out.
Yeah. Okay.
And so those cameras help you there, huh?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, good.
How about that? That's
or we can
okay.
pick up some of the traffic on County Road 9 if we get like a theft or something to find that good information, we can use it to try to
Just to
narrow down
track
the
them
suspect
down.
vehicle.
Right.
Or when they dump stuff in the car wash, it ends up in the sewer plant.
Gee.
Oh,
That happened this winter, so.
Gee whiz. Oh, my.
So on, page 14 of 15, Jill, at the very bottom, Minnesota unemployment, farmer's market employee unemployment, I mean, it was only $12.39. Is that
Yep, we have to pay her unemployment because we didn't hire
really? Huh.
The
For how
Camp
long?
Falls, the lady in Camp Falls?
Yep.
So, because we discontinued the program, then, well,
She was a city employee
yep, so she, we'll get that for how long?
for 1 year,
Oh, 1 year.
up to 1 year, or when her allotted bank
Or if she,
account.
oh, okay,
Oh, so that
So it could be 12 payments of
right.
$12.39 costs more than the check.
Right.
So, oh, okay.
Huh.
So I was looking at, our expenses were 214,000 roughly, and our receipts were 111. So it puts us $102,680.64, not to the good.
For a month.
For a month. Was that unusual? No. Okay,
Nothing unusual is coming up. City
Right.
never makes money.
yeah.
It's just that twice a year when everybody,
That's what
all
you
the paying
write.
comes in, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Or
So
if there's, yeah,
July and December when you get your property tax money and your LGA money.
yep.
Right, yep. Okay. All right, well, I need a motion to approve the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
What was this page about?
Oh, this was, Jason just handed this to me, and it just says mayor, council members, and city staff. It was from Marie Holba, and, she wanted to talk this evening, but, she kind of came at the last minute, or contacted Jill, and Jill had, politely said our agenda is pretty full, so I asked her if you could maybe print out a summary, please, of what you're asking and what you're looking at, and then we could look at it at our work meeting. So
Sure.
I would encourage you all to read that, and so we have some information on that. So, could I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Mayor, appreciate